Welcome back to the Daily Lift. When we read our Bibles, we will notice that there is a lot of talk about love. It is a central theme in the whole of Scriptures. Even from Genesis to Revelation, we have an unending love story because God loves us so much, as John 3:16 tells us, that He gave His only Son, that we should not perish but have everlasting life. We see Jesus saying time and time again things like, "If you love me, you'll keep my commandments." There is no love greater than this, that a man lays down his life for his friends. Paul talks about in the great love chapter in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, he says, if I had a silver tongue and I could speak like men, like the greatest speakers and of angels, but I don't have love, I'm nothing. And when we look at love in the context of the English language, sometimes it's hard to determine because there are spectrums of love. And we only have one word and we have to determine it from the context. But in the Greek, it's a little easier. We have help because there's 3 words that the Bible uses for love. And we're going to talk about 2 of them today. And so this passage I want to pull up is in 1 Peter chapter 1, and it's in verse 22. And Peter says here, since you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the spirit and sincere love of the brethren, love one another fervently with a pure heart. So initially when I was reading this, I was asking myself, why would Peter state the fact that since we've obeyed the gospel, that we have, as a result of that, sincere love for our brethren? Why would he continue on with the next line, love one another fervently with a pure heart? Is not sincere love good enough? It's hard to understand what he's saying here when we're just looking at the English. But when we pull up the Greek, it makes it a little easier for us. It becomes obvious. And so what Peter is saying here is that there's different kinds of love. And he uses one in the beginning. We have sincere love for our brethren when we obey the truth. We have a familial love. This word here is phileo. This is the root of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, right? And so phileo is that brotherly love, that fondness, that affection, that we have love for each other because of our connections, whether it's a family bond or whether it is common interests. We have this affection and this love for each other. And so he says, since you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit in sincere brotherly love of your brethren, love one another, agape, love one another fervently with a pure heart. Now, this word agape is the love that Jesus showed us. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son. This word agape means that we are to seek the highest good for another individual, that we intrinsically value them as souls rather than we like them because they like the same stuff as us or because they come from the same family as us. And so here, Peter is saying that there's levels to love. And so now that you have practiced this brotherly love, this fondness, this affection for your brethren, are you going to love them when times get rough? Are you going to have unconditional love for them? This is what he's saying, that we have to step up and continue to progress and grow as Christians. And so I want to ask you this. Do you love your brethren? Do you love those people who are around you more than just a brotherly affection? Do you love them enough to teach them the gospel? Do you love them enough to tell them about Jesus? Do you love them enough to live a life that when they're looking to turn to somewhere, they can turn to you for advice, for help, for prayers? Are you loving people that much? Because the whole of 1 Peter here is saying that God loved us that much. He loved us so much. We need to behave and conduct ourselves in all holiness, that we need to be sober and that we need to be serious in our actions in this life, because after this life, there's judgment, and God is no respecter of persons. And so I want to encourage you today to practice that brotherly love, but also seek after that higher form of love, that agape love, as we try to imitate Jesus and as we try to be holy as he is holy. And as always,